are a lawyer.
Yes.
Court orders are not suggestions.
To them, they are.
The country today that is investing or setting up that facility, when a judge speaks in the United States of America, everybody listens to it, including the president of that country. Why is it that when a court speaks in Kenya, the nation that respects court order at home does not listen to judges in Kenya? Is it because the leadership of the country has allowed that? Is it because the United States has seen how we have disrespected our court orders that they see no reason of respecting them?
I told Kenyans, whom did you vote for, by the way? You guys, whom did you vote for? Why are you aware of what you were voting for? Because this is what you brought upon yourselves. I keep saying I voted for Azimio because I saw this malady. This was a disaster coming. It was a catastrophe. It was the highest form of evil that would have ever been meted upon this nation. And if you think you've seen bad, you haven't seen bad. So I'm just telling Kenyans, unfortunately, kuna mahali inafikanga hata sisi hatuna nguvu. Nguvu inaisha. Because this Kenya Kwanza administration is doing so many bad things on all fronts. By the time you're dealing with this one, they are doing this one. In fact, it gets to a place first you take a break to observe. If you read yesterday's Business Daily, there's an article there now. The country has decided they've sold everything. They've sold parastatals. They've sold... The only thing remaining they haven't sold is your data available on eCitizen. And they go on the papers and say now they want to sell your data. Wameuza kila kitu. Wamekopa kila mahali. Go to yesterday's, and I'm talking of Sunday, Business Daily. There's a whole article there on how government is going to sell the data, your data on eCitizen. Hiyo tu ndio kitu imebaki. Then the last thing they are going to sell is what? They'll come for your slippers. That's when we shall wake up and realize we don't have a country here. So that's where we are. If you're thinking court orders is a big problem, they have conjured another evil scheme to sell your data to NGOs and companies that need data. Of course, they'll tell you, Araida, oh, you're not going to sell your personal information. Who told you? Who told you? If they can wake up and sell Kenya Pipeline, a very strategic national asset, and they don't feel a pinch about it, who told you they won't end up selling your personal data? That's the only rider they are putting there.
To what end? Because for a sale to happen, okay, for a sale to happen, there is an exchange, right? And there's money that comes in. Where does it go? You should then be able to see where all of these things go. Education, perhaps the odd road here and there. The infrastructure fund, we're already being told that, it's going to set up mega infrastructure in the country. We're told that this is where all of these things are going, Fanya Mambo.
But we have seen, it's in people's houses. That was just a tip of the iceberg. That's a very small guy, in the grand scheme of things. So you can imagine what the other guys have. These are guys who have containers of money. That was just a small player in the game of those who have money. We have better players in the game. And you can imagine there are people with containers of money in this country. This thing of saying that we are not able to pay debt, no. I keep saying, and this is where I completely disagree with those people who say we are not going to pay debt. I keep reminding Kenyans that 65% of our debt is borrowed locally and internally. And what I mean by locally, when you go and buy a treasury bond, when you go and buy this kind of, the government things, you go and buy a T-bill, what you are doing is you are lending to government. So when you hear irresponsible leaders saying, we are not going to pay debt, we shall never pay debt, I usually submit as Fanya Mambo Kinuthia. I will not let a Kenyan who has worked so hard and invested in treasury bills go unpaid. What we need is a rational conversation about debt. And to start saying he worked for 50 years, he came and invested 1 million shillings or 2 million shillings in T-bills. And then there's someone who is coming to say, we don't owe, we are not going to pay. I think Kenya owes. And Kenya needs to pay. But we shall pay the right people. And we shall start with our local people. The people who we owe locally. We owe some of our banks. Some of them are thieves, we know. But some of our banks have also lent genuinely. So there's a lot of interest in our debt that people don't want to talk about. More than 60% of our debt is locally borrowed. And we have to be responsible when we speak about not paying debt. Because what you are doing is you're discouraging somebody who wanted to invest in government tomorrow. I keep telling people the least indebted nation in the world is Somalia. The other least indebted country in the world is Zimbabwe. Countries like Japan are indebted to the tune of 241% of their GDP. The US is indebted to the tune of 120% of their GDP. The UK more than 100%. Germany about 95% of their GDP. We are indebted to the tune of 68% of our GDP. And by the way, the richest company in the world is Volkswagen. They are the most indebted company in the world, followed by Toyota. They are the second most indebted company in the world. The poorest companies in this world, ni tuingine tumeregister hapa business services. Zenye they owe nobody, but they also have nothing. So let's not present debt as a very bad thing. It's a conversation that people never want to have. Do you want to be like Somalia that nobody can lend to? Or do you want to be like Zimbabwe that is not indebted? Maybe they're indebted to the tune of 4%. I would rather be like Japan that is indebted to the tune of 241% of their GDP.
But then there is a requisite.
But what they do, no, theirs is 241%. Those guys who are telling you debt is bad, like the US, are indebted to the tune of 121% of their GDP.
But you can see what they do with it. Is this
That's
the reason?
exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
That we shall have a responsible conversation about debt. This populist conversation that people want to throw us and say we are not going to pay, we won't pay, debt is bad. Who told you debt is bad? Debt is good if it goes to the right use. Debt is good if it is handled by people who mean well. Debt is not an entirely bad thing, but also let us not kill the investor confidence in this country. If we come and tell Kenyans we are not going to pay debt, they will never buy treasury bills. They'll never buy treasury bonds. They'll never invest in government. I am a person who is looking at becoming a member of parliament in an opposition that is going to form government. And we don't want to have a government that can't have funds to run, or a government that even Kenyans don't have confidence in. So we have to build that confidence and tell you, for the genuine debt that we owe, we will pay. For the debt that it was acquired illegally, did not hit this country, was not used for this country, we will not